Alright, so we got this switch right here. It's been giving me issues. When I attempted to ballast this track to make it look more realistic, I screwed up and I got some ballast and glue inside the workings of the switch motor, so it is essentially useless, and now I'm about to rip up a bunch of scenery so I can install this. It's a brand new switch that I found in my stockpile of supplies, so hopefully this takes care of my issue I've been having with dead spots in the rail over here. It's a perfect match, so let's get to the fun part. Alright, so first order of business, I need something to pry the track up from its current location. This is going to get messy and it will probably piss my wife off, but it's not the first time she's been mad at me, so oh well. The track, just like the scenery, in my short-sightedness, I secured to the layout base with white glue. Now, admittedly, this was supposed to make it easier to take up in the event that I needed to, but it looks like it's going to be every bit the pain that I feared it would. The first step is going to be trying to get the track loose from the white glue that's poured over the edge of the road bed. There we go, there's some progress. And it looks like it may not do as much damage to my scenery as I had originally feared, although that little chunk will have to be replaced. Now, I don't think I have to emphasize this requires extreme diligence and caution. You can't just go bull rushing in here and ripping it all out. Bad switch. Fairly well detailed and, you know, additional scenery to it, but bad switch. Now we will go about installing the new switch, which will eventually get some of its own supplemental scenery to it, but for right now I'll be perfectly content with just installing this thing and no dead spots. I'm having to be extremely careful here because I was not able to completely unsecure the track on the other end, and this is rather precarious. Alright, there's about half the battle won, or 2/3 of it rather. Now linking this. Now the real challenge will be trying to get all three to go in without causing too much damage to everything. That's done. There we go. And there we go. Now I get to have the fun of trying to get this seated back down properly. Alright, now before we get too far along, I'm going to test the switch. I was having a dead spot here, so hopefully my issues are resolved. Well, the dead spot's gone, but apparently I need to wrangle one of these rails into the rail joiner. Alright, seeing the rail is in the rail joiner, so let's check it out and see what it did. If that improved, well, it's going to improve it, I just need to make sure it actually works. So, here we go. And dead spot is gone. That was a very frustrating and annoying aspect of the operations on this layout. I just spoke too soon. Alright, it's not perfect, but it's a lot better than it was. Now, the fun task of getting all this put back together. Alright, well, it took some fine tuning and adjusting to get the track to sit level again, but it works. Might have spoke too soon. Of course, it worked perfectly when the camera was not on. So here we go. Switch is line for the lead. Switch is line for the lead for the rock plant. I can once again run power into the rock plant. Back this up a little bit because the track is dirty. Back out onto the main. Make sure it's snug up against there. And dead zone free. Now, I'm going to have to clean this up. And that is going to be a project for another day. I will, however, have to, and there's no two ways around this one, dadgum cats, clean up this. So I'm not going to film the cleanup. All I'm doing is running a vacuum cleaner. It's not really that exciting or exhilarating. Alright, I decided to take advantage of the mess while it's still there. And I put down some napkins to protect what I don't want to get sticky, and applied my white glue to where I do want to be sticky, and now I'll be applying the grass. So this will end up looking like kind of a hodgepodge of just varied colored grasses all over my layout, but that's okay because grass doesn't grow uniformly the same color everywhere in reality, so I can live with that. And learning from the mistakes of my past, I have put some clear packaging tape right here to protect the interiors of the switch machine on the switch. I will be coming back through later once this dries and applying some fresh ballast, and it looks like I might be able to get away with adding some to my little road right here. Now mind you, I don't need a whole lot, I just need a little small spattering of ballast right here to convey the presence of a road shoulder. Now we'll just kind of halfway pack that down, and we'll come back when it dries and do some mop up. This is a powered switch. All I need is the remote box and the wire that connects to the transformer, and I can actually use this electronically. I'm not going to, but I could. Later to come, we're going to add some shrubbery along the edges here to kind of hide this gap that's clearly visible between the bottom of the gray plastic road bed of the track and the top of the baseboard. That gap exists because of where the original switch and original trackage was originally glued to the baseboard. Okay guys, so I took the back plate off of that bad switch, and yeah, that coil is supposed to look like that coil. So when the glue got in there, it shorted out the coils apparently, and it caused ballast to kind of char and burn a little bit, which I'm glad I caught that. You can see there in the dead center of the frame, there's not even anything holding the rail against the rail bed. So yeah. We'll chalk that one up to a lesson learned, to be a lot more careful with this stuff. There is no ballast, there is no glue underneath it this time around, and it will remain that way. Whenever this glue is dried, I'll come back and add some more details as far as shrubbery to conceal the throw lever, and just this gap that you can see right there. That's the gap I was talking about. This is going to have to be cleaned up with the vacuum. So it is a little bit of progress, just inching along. And then at some point in the immediate future, this whole gravel yard is going to get ripped up, so I can take out this switch right here and replace it without disturbing this switch. It'd be a lot easier to just completely redo all the gravel tracks than try to leave them in place and mess with this again. Alright, and here we have the completed scene. Not my best work, but given my limited amount of supply and resources right now, I'll take it as a win.